a teacher, and I'm also from Brazil, and I'm a senior.
Yeah, I'm Sophia, and I'm also from Brazil, and I'm a teacher too.
Right.
So to start, we want you, everybody stand up. We want to start doing an activity.
Everybody stand up?
Yeah. Let's go circle here. A circle.
Hold your hands, be friends.
Everyone,
Let's move back so everyone will fit.
How will this work? Wait, just don't put your... Okay,
This
just
game is
like
called human knot. And now you need to pay attention on who is on your right hand and who is on your left. Really memorize it.
It's really important so the game will work. Really memorize it. So, Amanda is on my right hand and Shell is on my left hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So did you guys remember?
do you guys know who's on your left and your side, right?
Andrea.
Okay, we will play a song, a music, and we give a walk around this class, but without the hands. And when the music stops, you need to give the hands on who is on your right hand and who is on your left hand. And we're going to try to make a circle again. Okay.
You're gonna give a walk around the class, and then when the music stops, you gotta remember who was on your right and who's left, and then you're gonna give your hand back to each person, but everything's gonna be
A
scrambled.
little bit messy.
Yeah.
Now we're going to start to unravel this human knot.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm going to play some music that has really a lot to do with what we do. It's called ABC from Michael Jackson. Because our project is that we teach English, so we thought it really has everything to do. Alright, so everyone remembers what their hands are? So you just walk around. Yeah. Alright, everyone please stop where you are and then give back your hands to who you were holding on this moment. Where? Alright, now we have to make a circle again. Now we have to go back to the position we were before.
Yeah.
And we need to work as a group.
Yeah.
So
As a team.
everyone starts doing what they think is right. It's possible. I do not. Class here. Hold on.
Maybe you can go. We come down and you can go.
I can't go down.
No, you go.
That's better. Now, stay down. Not that straight. Alright. We're awesome. Alright, so this could be a little bit tricky. Alright, now go over there.
Okay. Almost.
No, down.
Yeah.
And then
No, you guys don't have to go. Yeah.
Okay.
You go down.
We're almost done.
Okay, girls. Can you do that for a moment?
And
Yeah, because I'm in a dress.
I know we're asking now.
Good.
this really reflects what goes on in our classes. And, alright, so if you guys want to sit on the floor, really relaxed and formal on the chairs, then we'll get our presentation started.
Two with me. I'm gonna say I and say uy, and you're like, because that you're stealing effect of me, talking. What about that?
That's what we do with the kids when they're being too noisy.
Yeah, so the pact is sealed. No one can talk after that.
So yeah, we're asked ourselves, what can students do to have the future of our community? So the answer is we start a project that is like we teach English to a more humble community close to our city. They're like satellite cities close to Brasilia. And we go there like once a week to teach not just English but other skills such as the virtues, which make the kids like better persons and still help them in their future with English. So the project started by an initiative that was dreamed by two teachers from school. That was Nadia Angela and Hita. And they made an association with an NGO close to our school, not really close, and that in São Sebastião, more poor community close to our city.
Yeah, and we deal with kids from 3 to 20 years old, so that's a big range, but we always do our best to deal with the different ages. And this project has been going on, for 4 years now, and we've been participating for 2 years, like all of us.
Yeah, the training process started by volunteer students from 9 to 12th graders. And we actually had a training with teachers from elementary school that would teach us how to deal with the kids and how to do stuff with them, because we didn't have the experience, none of us. And we were like dealing with taking care of another human being. So they splitted us into pairs so that things would get easy for us. And we learned some techniques that we use with them, and it really works. That first of all, they need a routine. We start with a warm-up. It's usually what we did here. They like very much, and they engage in class with the warm-ups. We make them inspired to learn and do whatever we thought was good.
Yeah, the warm-ups are really important as well to make the kids remember what was taught on the class before. So, because since it's once a week, we need to repeat and repeat and repeat all the time, so they'll really grasp what was taught.
And it can be really hard if you're dealing with a class to keep, especially if they're children, to keep their attention. So if you're just like giving them content on the board, or if you're just telling them, okay, so this is blue, this is red, after a while they'll get really uninterested. So we have to like make games, and we have to make them want to be there, and the warm-up is kind of for that, so that they feel that this is fun, it's not just a boring.
After the warm-up, we have an explanation and a planning. So we introduce to them the new subject, what they're going to learn. And in the oral phase, we actually relate what we're learning with their daily life. And we like to do repetition a lot because it fixes what they learned. And then there's the correction technique, which we try not to be too harsh with them, because otherwise they're volunteers there too. And if we be harsh with them, I think they wouldn't be happy, and we will intimidate them and make them not learn, which is not our objective. And sometimes it's really difficult because, for example, my partner and I, we tell them to copy the board, to do a exercises, writing exercises. And a new student, he didn't know how to write. And she said, "Miss, I don't know how to write, so we needed to find a new way to teach him." So for him, we give him color things, and to the others we give the writing things.
So you have to adapt yourselves to the different publics that you're dealing with. And also, the correction part is really important because if you just straight out say, "No, you're wrong," kids are really sensible to that. And you must be sure that they want to learn, and so they won't feel like dismotivated. So you have to be really filled with tact and love to deal with it.
Well, don't be negative. Just like.
You guys remember like when you're little and sometimes a teacher says something to you that might not even have been like something really harsh, but you take it kind of upset, and kids do sometimes get really upset about what you tell them and the way you tell them. So it's really important that if someone got something wrong, you don't say, "It's wrong." You say, "Try it again," or "Try it like this," so that they'll want to keep learning.
Alright, so the actual classes were really dynamic, and we tried to give activities that were really planned beforehand so that the kids will be interested and learn at the same time. So we planned different groups, and each table, like each group had a different activity. And for example, we had games like this that we played with them. We had games such as the warm-up we did, things that will get them moving, so they'll like, yeah, they teach with us as well. They're from our school. Say hello, everyone. And we also have the written part, which we give out notebooks to them, so they'll copy what's being taught. If you guys want to take a look, it's right here.
Just that's fine.
Okay, so we brought notebooks from 3 students. They were from my class, Guilherme, Mel, and Vinicius. And they were all very different, but all eager to learn.
And inside the class, as they said, it's gotta be interactive. So you always make pay attention techniques as the I that we said. Because if kids are too excited, they're gonna be like talking, running around the class. And to make them pay attention, you gotta do the warm-ups or do that, because they really engage in that stuff. They really are interested. When you say, "I made a pact with you," they're like, "Yes."
I'm important.
Yeah, and then they start seeing you as someone who can trust. Like.
Yeah. In our class, we had this thing because sometimes kids can just really be like, "I don't want to learn," and go under the table or like do anything. So we came up with this system of like stars, and every time you got something right, you got a star. And if you misbehaved, like the whole class would lose it. And it ends up becoming a game for them, so they get really interested and they want to get the golden star and they want to act well and do their homework and stuff.
My students are a little bit older. I do with teenagers, which are complicated, you guys all know. So I try to bring songs to them where it relates to the subject, and they all dance and they learn dancing and they learn.
Yeah, because we have to adapt, because since we have kids who are really, really small and have like nap time classes, and the students that are already driving, the activities need to be different.
Once I had a 19-year-old student.
Yeah.
He's older than me.
Alright, so everything was taught to us in a really theoretical way, and that really diverged from what really happened, because we knew the theory, we knew what to do if they misbehaved, we knew how to test them, we knew what activities to do, but we didn't actually know them. We didn't actually know the place. So arriving there was a big shock. And because it was our first contact with those kids. So our expectations were really high, and at the same time, we were a bit scared, just as they were. But when we got there, it was completely amazing.
So I think when we were taught the theory, it seemed a lot easier. Like you got taught, oh, you have to teach them a content every class, and this is how you do. But when you get there, it's so much different than what we were expecting or what like, sometimes you get there and you have an entire class planned, but the kids, they don't want to do that, they want to do something else, so you have to improvise.
Or if you, like my class had 20 students, but there were days where only 2 came, so you had to completely change your planning because you can't give class to only 2 students. They all must learn, so we had to do other things or just revision, and that cut us time a lot.
And sometimes, but sometimes, like, you have one student, you're like teaching to 10 kids. And then in the second class, you're teaching to 10 different kids.
Yeah, they change a lot.
Yeah, because as they live and there, and they go volunteering, like, they want to be there. Sometimes they just don't want to more, so it changed completely. And you're like, you have to teach everything again, but you gotta be patient.
And sometimes they have personal problems like separations of their parents that they are absent during 2 classes, and it's really,
They have to deal with their issue as well.
Another really kind of challenge we faced was the place that we were giving class. Because all our lives we've been lucky to go to good schools, that we had good materials. But when we went there, the first place we started teaching was a house. So some people taught in the kitchen, other people gave classes in the garage or in bedrooms. A lot of rooms that didn't even have boards or
We had to pay for
Yeah.
the materials.
So-
Our school had to donate the notebooks.
It was kind of harder for us because sometimes things that we think are so obvious, for them it was like really good for them when they got a notebook. They got really happy that they could write everything down. And one of the things that we're the most proud of is that the project has grown. We started out over here, this is our school. So we started out in one location with one NGO, and now we have over 3 locations, one in Tapua and one in Domorioni, which means that it really expanded. And each of us teach in different locations.
I teach, my students are actually kind of complicated because I teach in like an after-school program for them, and there are students that live in risk. They're there because the government sent them, and they have complicated stories, and I have to deal with it all the time. So I teach a lot of virtues to them so they can grow as a human being and maybe start to be a better person in the future.
And also, now we're really happy that the project almost has a life of its own. We can leave the school, but there are other people that will continue it. It has grown, so it's not so much dependent on one teacher or on a small group of students. It's actually become something that can continue. And you go in there and you really think you're just teaching these kids English, but we become so much more. We develop really strong relationships with them. We see them grow, like we've been with them for 2 years. So you see how much the children change in that time and how much they start looking up to you. And you really have the power to become their role models and the power to, they'll listen to what you tell them and they'll come to you if they have problems. And you actually have a chance sometimes to help them with something they're facing, and they can actually look up to you. So that's one of the best things from this project.
And since our location was really humble, we did our best to make it more pleasant for them to learn. So we spent our Sundays and Saturdays printing cool things for them to color and to make them feel more at home and more like, so they'll feel more, I don't know, so they'll want to learn.
This took a long time.
Yeah, yeah, it took us a long time. That was our class we taught together. Yeah, that's us, with the kids.
And we always have fun, independent of how the classes go. Sometimes you have to improvise, but it's always great to be around the kids and to play with them and just have fun with them.
you need to find new ways to entertain them. So these are the kids.
Some of the kids.
Yeah.
They're really the
Yeah, these are
hard.
from one of the places.
Yeah.
The other part of the project, because like each time you wake up like Saturday in the morning, after Friday you probably go out, have fun with your friends, and it's Saturday in the morning, 6 a.m. and you're like, I gotta wake up because I gotta teach, and you're really tired, but then you think, no, my kids, because they actually, you bonded them, so it's actually, they counting on you to go there, so you wake up Saturday, and you're happy to be there.
because they're counting on you. And if you don't go, they'll ask you next class, like, why didn't you come? We missed you. And it becomes like a really strong bond that you create with them. We miss them like when we don't see them.
As you care about you, they care about us. When my partner was sick once, my kid, my student, my partner was sick, and then he was like, but where's Miss Faye? And I was like, oh, she's sick. And then he made a little card to her, like, send to her because I miss her. They like her more than me. when she doesn't go, they're like, where's Miss Faye? When everybody's like, okay.
And you really do get the opportunity to help them in ways that when they feel, because sometimes these kids do go for a lot of hard stuff in their life. Like they end up facing problems with their families and the places they live. So you get to be sort of a role model to them, because sometimes they don't always have that, where they don't always get the chance to have a good education or to go to a good school and have good teachers. So when you get to become, and you see that you're someone important in their life, that's just really amazing.
All right, so the project has grown a lot. In numbers, it has grown a lot. We started with one location, one house, like 10 teachers at first, and now we have 3 locations, more than 20 teachers, and we've reached out to more than 200 kids on those 4 years, and more are coming. And that is really a pleasure to us, because we've seen this project grow from the beginning, and we know that once we leave school, because we're seniors, not counting those 2, we're all seniors, so we know that if we leave school, it will still be a thing. It's going to be permanent, and it's going to be forever changing lives of students. And besides the growth of the association, of our project, we've seen our personal growth as well. For example, when you're in charge of 20 students, 28-year-olds, you must be pretty confident about yourself. You must know that you can deal with this. And you must trust your partner a lot. Because for the first time in your life, you're responsible for another person other than yourself. Because in school, we do projects and we do tests, but they all affect your grade. And in Learn for Fun, we're actually talking about other people involved. You're responsible for the students. You're responsible for the parents, because they can't sometimes, like, they go to Learn for Fun because they don't want to be alone at home. So the parents are counting on you, the teachers are counting on you, the school is counting on you, and the students, which are the best parts, also trust you a lot. So you have to really develop that skill. Something that changed so much as well was our relationship with our teachers from the school. Because that was the first time as well that we got to see their point of view, and how it's hard to control a class, and how it's really good to see that they're learning, and it's been a life-changing experience for us as students, and for the teachers involved as well. I bet that you two saw some change in us, right?
I hope.
Yeah, I hope. And also, our worldview has really increased, because we're from, like, everyone here, I'm assuming, is from really privileged parts of your countries and go to elite schools. So it's really hard for us to get in touch with the actual life, the actual poverty that is going on in our countries, that we hear so much, but we see so little. And for the first time, we really got to experience that and see what they go through, see the problems that they deal with every day that are so distant, but at the same time so close to us, because those schools are not very far away from our school, but the reality is so different, and that really expanded our horizons. But I think what I value the most about this project is that we've become solutionaries, because giving class is really unpredictable. So sometimes you have to deal with whatever's coming up. You have to improvise a lot and have quick answers to deal with what's going on. For example, I remember this one time, last year, we were talking about Mother's Day. It was the next Sunday. So we were preparing this project for the students to give their moms, like little cards and little drawings for them to give their moms. And everyone was really excited about it, because they don't actually get to do that at their schools. But there was this one girl, she she was really quiet that day. And she was just off, because she's not like that. She's really talkative, and she's one of the best students.
It's Mel, her notebook's here.
Yeah, her notebook is somewhere. You can see that she's very eager to learn. Everything's really organized, and she was the teacher's pet. But that day, she was not herself. Not herself. She was really grim. So we sat down and talked to her, and we discovered that her mom had died the week before. And since, we didn't ask what her mom died of, but since that was a pretty rough neighborhood, we got an idea. And we knew that she would suffer so much, because we met her dad in a previous teacher-student, parent-teacher conference. And he was a bit absent, so we knew she would face lots of problems. And me and my partner, we were like, how do we deal with this? This is the first time we encountered something so big, something so intense. We had no idea what to do, because we've never gone through that. We didn't know how to act with an 8-year-old. So what we figured, we had to think really quick, because the other students were started to get really worried as well. So we divided ourselves. I took the rest of the class, and she, like Sophia right there, she talked to Mel, and she took her away from the class. And together, they wrote a little letter to her mom, so she could read in heaven. And then we translated it to English together. So at that moment, we joined English and actual care and love at the same time. And that was really fulfilling for myself, at least. Yeah. You can talk. Sorry. And because we know so much, we have so much, we are so much, but at the same time, there's so many other people who don't have anything. And it's our responsibility to share what we have to them. And this is what we do in Learn for Fun.
It's our duty, actually.
Yeah.
Because
their opportunities in the future may be better because they're learning another language. It will improve their knowledge and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Everybody actually, in the ideal world, should have the type of education that we had. And we're so lucky that in a country where most people have so little, we got a lot. And it's kind of even selfish if we didn't try to give some of that back or try to pass it forward some way. And you can see how sometimes for you, it's like you're giving a part of your Saturday or your Thursday away, but for them, that means so much more. At one parent-teacher conference, that was it. The parents, we were talking about how the kids could eventually go to college or maybe do something, and they got so happy because that was something that even though it should be everybody's right, it's so kind of for them like a faraway dream. They don't see how that can be reality, and it should be everybody's chance to get and do whatever they want with their lives. And you get to see how these kids, sometimes you get a boy, in our class, at the beginning of the year, he was a real troublemaker, and he liked, starting fights, and then at the end of the times that we were with him, we met his mom, last conference, and she was telling us about how much he changed and how he was less aggressive, and we saw how he was better with his classmates, and how, he doesn't really like to go to school, but he, wakes up early on a Saturday and goes there, and it just changes your life. It means a lot more than sometimes, going out on Friday or something like that. This really enriches us, and I don't know,
We're proud
Yeah.
of what we've achieved. And that's it.